Hi and welcome to our Market Insight for May 2017. I'm Aaron Upcroft. I'm here with Rob Gilmour.
Afternoon, Aaron.
Hi. Budget edition today. So look, lots went on obviously with the budget, but I think the best thing is to pull out probably 5 of the main topics that will be relevant for our clients and talk to them and really sort of give some insight as to what they are. What do you think?
Absolutely. Let's roll into it.
Okay. So first thing, personal tax. Give me some of the changes on personal tax.
Look, we're all going to be paying more Medicare levy for the National Disability Insurance Scheme, and look, I think that everyone seems to think that that's a pretty fair thing to do.
Yep.
Budget repair levy is going for top income earners, so the top marginal rate will drop from 49% to 47% again.
Okay.
And look, in addition to that, there's a change in the marginal tax rate from the $80,000 band. It's been pushed up to $87,000.
Okay, so that's a bit of a saving.
Yep, bit of a saving. Yeah.
And negative gearing, it's good that they largely left that alone. There was a lot of talk, in the last year, for instance, about what might happen. There's some changes. Tell me about them.
A little bit along the property policy front. They have cut back travel expenses and also some depreciation allowances for existing plant and equipment in residential properties. It's going to save a bit of money, but it's not going to be earth-shattering.
So I'm not going to Hayman Island anytime soon to check on my investment property.
If it hasn't been blown over by a cyclone.
True. Okay, next one, bank tax. Now this is an interesting one. Tell us about that.
Oh, look, most profitable banks in the world. I think everyone thinks the banks can afford the extra slug and do their bit for the economy. A popular measure, but we all know who's going to ultimately pay.
I'm fairly sure I know who's going to pay. It's going to come back onto my front where rates are going to go up at some point. It's ultimately going to be paid for that way, don't you think?
Look, it'll probably only be borne by the customer in rates. I doubt the banks will be cutting their dividends to shareholders as a result, but it'll be a political hot potato for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, housing affordability. We spoke about this in the last couple of months. Obviously, they've tried a couple of different measures. What's your take on some of these?
Really difficult for a federal government to do anything, and thank God they didn't do anything dramatic because, they seriously could hurt the property market, which is not what we really need.
Yeah.
A few measures around the edges, with superannuation, some saving through first home buyers there, downsizing measures for people who want to downsize and get some money into super above the age of 65. In addition to some other measures around increasing finance for affordable housing, also some extra tax on foreign buyers as well. So really tinkering around the edges, but is it going to make much of a difference?
Look, that last first home saver scheme didn't really work. Not many people use those accounts from my understanding anyway. I would be surprised if this one works again. But hey, anyway, it's good to see they tried.
Look, it took me a few times to read it and get my head around it. So some 20-something-year-old who probably doesn't even know where their super's going is unlikely to really use it. So I tend to agree on that.
Yeah, sure. Speaking of super, it's a good segue into it. So what's happened there? Many changes come through?
Look, after last year, we can all breathe a sigh of relief. No significant changes to what's already in the pipeline for superannuation, apart from those 2 measures that are sort of geared towards housing affordability, which we will absolutely use in terms of our overall planning for clients. That downsizing and ability to get some money into super is going to be great because it's actually not working. Absolutely, it's not included in the $1.6 million pension cap. So we're already starting to think about ways to get that money into super for the higher income earners. I don't think it's really going to create a lot of housing supply as a result, but no, super largely left untouched.
Okay, good. And what about growth and the economy in general? Like, what are your thoughts and what this budget's going to do for it?
Well, look, it's a budget, so it's an economic document and a political document, but ultimately it comes down to the economy and growth. And really, there's a couple of things that stand out. Massive spend on infrastructure, which is absolutely needed in the economy. We've had a mining boom and we've had a housing boom. What's going to fill the void? And they have ploughed a lot of money towards infrastructure, and hopefully it's productive spend. A lot of money needs to be spent well and productive for the economy, so that's certainly going to help growth over the next few years and jobs. And the other thing is small business, very important to the economy as an employer. They've extended the concessions for the $20,000 upfront deduction on expenditure for small business for another year, which is also very effective.
That's
so they're important measures.
Surplus?
We've got one predicted in 4 years' time, but we've had that for the last 5 or so budgets, so it's still on the horizon. Everything has to go right if we're going to get there. And interestingly, they are predicting increases in employment, increases in growth, but a lot of other factors need to come to play in order for that to happen.
Yeah, agreed. So where to from here? Okay, so we're middle of May. End of financial year is coming. What do our clients do?
Usual preparations. You need to be on top of where things are going to land for the end of the financial year, thinking about your deductions. Should you be prepaying your interest on investment loans?
Yes.
Thinking about your contributions to super. If you're a business owner, thinking about those accelerated tax deductions as well. So really it's going through that end of financial year checklist and making sure everything's in order.
Yeah, great. Well, that's our market insight for May. We'll see you again next month.